We're live. Good August 10th morning to everyone that's here. How y'all doing? Everybody's doing great. We got quite a nice little huddle with us today. We'll walk through the agenda. Feel free to put your energy score in the chat, and I'll read them off. Some we have real quick. Jim's at an 8.6. Tara Lynn's at a 9, and Andrew's at a 9.5. And Andrew's feeling great. That's awesome sauce. And then Lisa's at a 9.13. I'm sitting around an 8. I'm still waking up a little bit. I'm also tentatively nervous that Felipe is going to start counting my eye scratches, so I have to be very careful. I'm gonna keep it. My forecast today is I get only one. That's what I'm keeping myself to. Yeah, let's go. Let's dive into this agenda and see what we got. So proxies. Looks like Tara Lynn has both Joey and Jessica as forms as proxies. So Tara will be popping in a lot for this huddle, along with note taking, which again, classically isn't the best thing to do in note taking is to do the line, but she has been gracious, and I believe that she'll be doing a great job no matter what. Who else for proxies do we need? Nice, quick maths. Let's look at the list, see sure we have everybody. Do we have Lauren's proxy, or was he not? Did he not set that up? Seeing a bunch of blank stares, I'm going to trust that he did not set that up. That is fine. The number is up there. We can talk about it.
He's here. He just don't.
Oh,
he should be around.
Oh, perfect. Okay, sounds great. All right. Well, seeing any other proxies, looks like we should be good for everybody else. And let's go. So we have the DOR board like usual, and the discussion topics. We got a couple good ones. So I believe we have not had a huddle since we've discussed all the proposed changes for the big roadshow carryout proposals. So we should review those real quick. Just a quick touch on those, just to catch everybody up. As me and Sherilyn realized, is we tentatively forgot to roll out 2 of the changes yesterday, and so they're rolling out today. So perfect reason why we should review them, so it's all fresh in our minds. Hence why this huddle is so important. Since currently this day next week, we will all not have a restaurant to work in for that day. So we're going to have to maybe figure out where to move this huddle, because according to the chain of emails I saw and people's general vibes that I've talked to, they would very much like to not have to come to a huddle or feel like they have to come to a huddle on the day off. So so we'll have to talk about that, see how everybody feels about it. We'll talk about that because it's very important, because that's it's a huddle. Did I miss anything, or does this look pretty good to continue? Not seeing hands or comments or faces looking like they want to ask a question. We're going to then move forward. We bounce my screen here to a brand new DOR board. Thank you, Jim, for working on this. It looks all pretty. Everything's in order, and I even got my little orange bars up, like bumpers, so everybody knows where to look for what. So let's get this party started with Lisa, as we traditionally do, with total sales and dine-in sales.
All right, hello. Thank you. Good morning. How's everybody doing? All right. Numbers are looking pretty fabulous here. Very close on the forecast of 185. We came in at 184.2, which is really close. Really nice. I forecasted a bit more in dine-in sales. We came in short on that at 118, which is still a lot of dine-in compared to, well, lots of different points in this recent past. But 118 is still very nice and solid. Folks are loving to come and dine in. We're also seeing to-go's hanging steady, though. On Saturday night, I mean, even when we raise those to-go the quote times to, hour, 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours, folks are still, some people are willing to wait on that. We're doing that strategically out of necessity, just with the amount of overall business coming our way. So that number is hanging tight, right? So we're we had talked about what is that going to look like now and in the future with that split. And it's kind of hanging steady at in the 60s, right? Like 62, 65, depending on the week, of course, and what's going on, but for the to-go business. So I think we can probably anticipate that's going to remain for a while. Dine-in, we're coming on football season. Fall, which is always a fun time of year, and students coming back and moving and lots of things happening. So we're just going to have to see how it all shakes out. And then I know we did have the wedding as well. So those numbers are in there also, right? I'm not imagining that, right? That happened. Okay. All jumbled together right now. So anyway, the 184 is really, really, really nice and solid. I did put forecasts in last week. I think I'm just going to have to monitor week to week just to, again, kind of see if there's any major shifts in anything. Right now, it's kind of hanging steady with this. But like I said, with lots of fun, interesting things coming our way and that we're used to, like I said, football games and all that kind of stuff. So see how it all shakes out. Unfortunately, we are a bit short this morning. Galen is on vacation this week. So glad that he's able to get some time away. But I'm only able to be at the meeting until 10:30. Just there's lots of stuff going on here. So I can wait to do do you want me to do front of the house now, or I can wait because
No, let's just get it out. Let's just get it out of the way in case something pops up.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Ari has a quick question.
Well, just before we get into labor and change subjects, I obviously I don't know. I'm just, as I'm sure others of you have too. I mean, with the Delta thing, like it's interesting that carry out went up a little bit for the first time in a while. So we don't have to decide now, but it does make me wonder about changing the bar room seating.
That's a great question. The reduction of that space, there's a lot of open space over there, right? Like it's the entire room right now. So by shrinking it, I think it's honestly going to be, if we like plan it out properly, it's just going to be less walking from rack to rack.
Okay.
And having extra space for dine-in when there's like move-in and like students coming back. Yes, we're not sure, and maybe it's not the right move. I mean, I'm gonna advocate that I think it is the right move, but I mean, who knows, right?
I'm not opposed. I'm just throwing it. I'm fine. I trust your judgment on it. So
it's a tricky one. Totally, yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
I wish I knew the future. It'd be so nice, wouldn't it?
You could try ordering it from GFS.
We'll see if they have any stock. Cool. Okay. No, it's a very, very valid question. And I'm happy to discuss more because, like I said, I wish I had the right answer. All right, labor forecast of 20,000 came in a bit below that, and with some nice strong sales at 9.4%. Thank you. So there have been, and for any of you that have worked, I'm sure a lot of you have. Recently, we are running lighter on certain shifts. Sometimes, just not being able to schedule or with call-offs. And we had quite a few call-offs in lots of different areas over this week and weekend. So I'm not sure how the labor from, Jim, is the labor from the wedding in there? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Well,
the event labor is about 1,100.
Okay. All right. So I think then we're sitting in the same ballpark that we have been for inside the restaurant. I think we've had a little less training though this last week. I think some folks are kind of through it. Not everybody. I know Grady's will train. There might be some fewer training dollars in there. That is going to go up though, because we will be hiring quite a few more people, which is very, very exciting. There are lots of applications rolling in now, which is exactly what we want. It's mostly frontline, but we do have today a manager shadow happening. His name is Brian Quinn. It's Galen's friend from college, and he's coming in at 1 o'clock today. So anybody in the building, you might be talking with him. Hopefully you get to meet him, but you might be also, showing him around and talking with him for a little while. I'd like for him to meet everyone that's here and do some shadows in all different departments. So that's very, very exciting. And then we are still hiring in pretty much every other department in the front of the house, and we probably will be for a very long time. So again, like I said, be prepared for lots of new folks in the building and lots of training to be happening. That's what I got. His name is Brian Quinn.
Thank you so much, Lisa. With the carryout change, everything in that BLC is very much in flux, and a lot of it none of it may even be permanent or make sense. So it's part of the fun of that BLC. So thanks, sorry for questioning that. And thank you, Leah, for Lisa for reporting all that and getting their lines out of the way in case you need to run away. All right. Has Lauren showed up yet? Not yet. So I will maybe come back and hopefully he will show up.
You want to come over here, Lauren, real quick? Yeah. Okay, here, Lauren's coming over. He's he's doing new hire paperwork right now. Isn't that great?
It didn't take me very long to come back to him then.
Here, he's coming right now.
Slowly introduce Lauren's live. Lauren's live. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
How is everyone doing today?
Good.
All right. So it looks like we came in a little bit over forecast and plan at 65,930. That's a great place to be in. That's holding very consistent considering long ticket times, short staffingness, and all the other things that have been going on. But that's just a really solid number, and maintaining that level of sales is really fantastic. As Lisa said, I'm doing new hire paperwork. We're bringing on a new roadshow employee who will be working the roadshow and doing a little bit of phone help as well, floating between the teams. We're really excited to have him on board. You'll be starting his training later this week or early next week. We'll figure that out in the next little bit. Coffee of the month is Peru. We just got that in. I have not actually gotten to try it, but I'm really excited to. It sounds really fantastic. And then the bread of the month is the Jewish rye. It's not a super popular bread of the month, so we don't bring on lots and lots of loaves. So always please check for availability, because we usually only get around 2 to 3 in a day. Chocolate graham cracker sounds amazing. So I'm excited to try it. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the Peru yet. So so looking forward to that. So thank you. I'm going to get back to my paperwork. Oh, all right.
Awesome. Thanks.
The Peru is awesome. I will vouch for it. I've been drinking it at Coffee Company, particularly good in a Chemex if you're over there, Zach. And that new muffin, which I wrote about last week, is very good. Chocolate
millet
and millet.
Yeah, it is really good. The roadshow, I had a couple of them. I sampled, so the roadshow was fantastic. Thanks, Ari. Thanks to Lauren. Sorry, technical difficulties. I can't see it. All right, so let's bounce it over to beverage and bar sales. Is there a Kim here, or is this one going to have to, because she's playing on the floor, I'm assuming. Lisa's not even there. All right, well, you have your numbers. Hope that's good. You have the numbers right there for beverage bar sales. That's pretty solid. Last week was like 18, so it's floating right around the same number.
She's here somewhere. I can grab her.
Cool. Well, let's, do you want me to go to Elaine or just wait?
If you want to go to Elena, I'll go grab her.
Perfect. All right, Elaine, good morning. I guess you get catering and events to talk about. How are we doing?
I do. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good morning. I was finally able to get some numbers in. I talked to Zach last night about it just because my line's a little weird because I can predict it a lot more, especially for this month of August. We're pretty booked up, so we're really not accepting any more large events by any means, especially on the weekends. We're pretty much at capacity, especially with the short staffness that the whole restaurant's experiencing. So it was pretty, I don't want to say easy. It will fluctuate, I'm sure, with football season, but also, as Ari mentioned earlier, I don't know with the Delta variant. Last year's football season, I think we only had 3 or 4 tailgate packages. I'm hoping that this season will be more busy, but who knows with the trend of how everything's going currently. But we did have a great wedding on Saturday with the wedding, and we had a Saturday delivery as well, and then a Sunday in-house private. The number right there is our actual 24,203 is what we made between those, or what we brought in between those 3 events. And then the forecast and the actual for next week is dead on as well. We just have a Friday in-house and then a delivery as well next week, or this weekend on Saturday. So then following that up, we'll have a few big profitable, hopefully, weekends with huge weddings. The 21st is the Weber wedding, which is they own Weber's, their family, and they're getting married at Cornman. So they chose us to cater. So it's going to be just a high intensity wedding, but it'll be good. And other than that, I see Kim's here and I know she's busy on the floor, so I will pass it over to her.
Sweet. Thanks, Elaine. Kim.
What up? I don't have a lot. I just got some little broken down numbers from what I could get quickly on toast. Beer was actually the big seller this week, which is surprising. Normally it's liquor, wine, then beer. So people are drinking a lot of beer. Also, I took up most of our beer prices up to the next category just to see how it went, and nobody seems to be complaining about it. So we're just going to keep going with that, which should bring our percentage down, the cost of beer down a bit. Big sellers for liquor this week were margaritas are flying off the shelves of all varieties. The Felipe's Tres Piñas and the Peach Daiquiri, they're all really great summer drinks. The Peach Daiquiri, if you haven't tried it, is fantastico. It's got a little bit of my favorite Velvet Falernum in it. Just adds that little je ne sais quoi. And we do have another bartender training up. He's doing paperwork on Monday, the 16th. And then we're going to start training him hardcore. He is one of my old wine reps, and he is awesome in every way, shape, and form. So I'm very excited for him. That's all I got.
Sweet.
Any questions?
So thank you. Yeah, cool questions for Kim.
Well, yeah, shot. All right, guys.
Bye-bye. Have fun on the floor. All right, now that Kim is running away, back to the floor. Do we have any questions for Elaine about events? All right, not seeing any. We got knocked those two out. Let's hop over to Felipe's world with dining room covers and the check averages for all 4 shifts.
Hey, everybody. Check averages and cover counts. Starting to get a little bit better handle on things, as my forecast will show. Just a little bummer that lunch just came in a touch under forecast at 784 on a forecast of 800. However, the check average being $2.17 forecast kind of makes up for that. And the other big number on that section is the dinner check average, 34.63. I have a feeling more than a little bit has been driven by price increases, which isn't a terrible thing, except that means that I think we can start to shoot higher now. I'm going to start ramping up my forecast, especially as we get into September and October with a lot of the students coming back and all that entails, which means that we have plenty of opportunities to upsell. So it gives us about a month to get our muscles kind of reworked into that upselling mode. I know that I will be talking to servers a lot over the next few weeks about remembering that upsells is what really helps pad their pockets and the restaurant's pockets, gets us closer to profitability. So going forward, I will be creeping up that the check average a little bit, and I'm looking to see. I'm going to believe that my forecast numbers will be crushed because more people want to be coming out, even in August, as people leave town or people start to come into town. So I'm looking for those numbers to be crushed. I'm going to give this week a chance to kind of get my hands around it a little bit, though. So I'll leave the numbers where they're at. But I'm feeling pretty good about what we've got coming our way.
Awesome sauce. Thank you very much, Felipe. Any comments or questions for Felipe? Hesna?
This is just like a classic baby in the industry question. A question that I've been like holding in because I didn't want to seem dumb, but I hear the term upselling a lot. It's okay. I've let go of thinking I look dumb. It's inevitable. But I don't know what it looks like in action. Are you comfortable giving me an example, please?
Ooh, give a pitch to
Oh,
Hesna.
happily. Upselling is enticing or inviting the guests to basically spend more money than they otherwise would. So, for example, a quick and easy one is when a guest orders maybe a burger, saying that comes with French fries, or you could get sweet potato fries for $1 more, or you could get something else like mac and cheese. And if you present it the way that the guest finds appealing or enticing, or just the fact that they have that opportunity that they may not have realized that they could get something else, sweet potato fries is an extra $1. The side of mac and cheese would be $2.50 or more. So now we're growing the check average by giving them the opportunity to spend a little bit extra on really good products that they might not otherwise know that they could do. One of my favorite upsells, my friend John and I used to try surf and turf steak, and offering a side of scallops to go along with the steak. Not only is it a great service to the guests because we're giving them an opportunity to get something they didn't realize that they could get in many cases, but also it's a great service to our check average because that's an extra $17 on the check. So if we're selling a ribeye at 39 or 40, it is, and we had another, we were at order scallops, now we're at 57 or 56. And that really does a heck of number on your check average to the good.
Absolutely. Thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome. All right.
Thanks, Felipe. Hesna, awesome question. And so like at the host stand, it could be selling a book or a chocolate bar or candy bar. And I mean, the way I look at it is I'm never trying to sell somebody something that's not going to help them. So it's not a trick. It's really like Felipe said, it tastes amazing with the scallops on there. So there's no pressure on them that they should buy it if they don't want to. But as you know from reading the books, they might help people. So it's really both helpful for the guest when it's done well and then helpful for the business at the same time.
Absolutely. Sometimes we're seating people and telling them to try the chocolate gelato makes their day. And that counts as something.
Absolutely.
It does. It always makes my day better, so you're not even wrong.
In fact, I believe the hosts and the bussers have some of the best potential to sell more because guests don't expect you to be doing it. They expect the server to do it.
That's a very, very fair point.
Very true. I didn't think about that. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Great question. Great question. Spark. Great conversation. So all around great. Thank you. That's enough for being in Spark. All right. So are there any other questions for Felipe before we move forward? All right, random PSA, because I just got an email from Megan Gabriel. We are officially good to use the InDesign and iMacs, because it's an iMac and not a Windows computer. We can use InDesign. Just letting you know, Lisa, or Caleb. I think Caleb might be closing today. Just letting you all know. So that is important, because I don't want to keep using QR codes forever. Let's bounce it over to Chef Bob with Backhouse Labor.
Morning, y'all. Backhouse labor came in at 22,466. I apparently blanked. I gave a forecast up. If I had, I would have probably put 21. So we would have been over my supposed forecast had I remembered. I mean, kind of the same story we've been kind of telling is lots of overtime, people working extra hours. Actually, our out times have been getting a little bit better at night. I think as we're going through the summer, we're seeing kind of not as many guests coming in right at the tail end. Not all the time, but at some nights, so that makes for some easier out times, which saves a little bit, but we definitely had our share of call-offs and staffing issues throughout the week that kind of led to people picking up extra work and pieces like that. So, along with a wedding offsite, which also adds to our labor. But so 22,466, forecasted at 22 for next week. Still got line cook, and we just reposted back up the dishwasher position. And hoping we'll see some movement. We had a gentleman, Brian Johnson, start He's a part-time line cook. We're still trying to nail down a permanent schedule for him, but for the time being, he's training on like Wednesdays and Saturdays. He also works full-time in the kitchen over at St. Joe's Hospital. And then we have a new fry cook starting this Thursday. His name is Jaime. He's a friend of Chef Chris's from his Black Pearl days. Really nice dude. I'm excited to bring him on board. He's excited to be here. So that should be a good fit, I think. But he's going to start training this Thursday. So some influx of positions. Just need more. I'm not totally positive, Carolyn. I can get back to you on it. Once we do the paperwork, I'll have a better idea. And that's all I got for labor cost.
That makes sense.
Probably right, Felipe.
Yeah. Ari, with a question or comments?
Thanks, Bob. Good stuff. I'm just thinking really for everybody, not for Bob in particular, but the obvious of next week, we're going to need to be shifting some forecast numbers around.
It's possible.
Yep. I mean, looking forward on my line, obviously not the week we're in, but the following week, we're down to 18. Which is, I mean, we'll play it by, obviously I'll know once we get a weekend where we're going to sit, but I think that's pretty close.
Got it.
But it might I think there's a chance it might even be like mid 17s or low 17s, depending on how it plays out.
Yeah, this is right here. This is the week of the day rest up Tuesday right here. So 18. Yeah. This, may have to mention to Lisa about the forecast for this one though. Especially because that's a lot more than the week before. So, all right, cool. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you, Ari, for looking ahead, knowing what's coming in 2 weeks down the line, or a week down the line, but in DOR language, 2 weeks essentially. Cool. All right, thank you so much, Bob. And let's go into food costs. Do we have a food cost for last month or not quite?
Not quite yet. I just poked over there. I'm sure it's working hard, and probably we'll see something probably later this week or early next week. But I feel pretty good about it. I mean, I think the price increases are going to, they obviously will help as we go along the lines. I think we're doing a good job of utilizing kind of leftovers from weddings and making really nice chilies out of them and getting pieces of them on the menu where we can. Sounds like Jim says kind of what we're seeing is kind of in line with where we've been before. So kind of that 33, high 32-ish area.
Yep.
Which is kind of where I'm kind of pushing the forecast to, where I've been at 33 for a long time and bringing that down a little bit. Outside of that, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, what one kind of thing we talked about once we opened back up was looking at like bread service, which is kind of on my radar that I haven't had a chance to talk to Ari until I just thought about it right now. But speaking of, and then it's a nice segue because Ari has his hands up. Or a hand up.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten the bread. It's on me, and then also Monica and Kim are on the task. What I was thinking about was a common hurdle word, but that doesn't mean no one said anything. But it's.
You were breaking up, Ari, but I think what you were saying was you hadn't heard a word on the burger pricing, maybe? Or no?
Yes, that was exactly what I said. We've been working together for a while. Thank you.
It seemed pretty much everybody accepted the.
And then I said it's good if we haven't heard anything, but I was just curious.
No, it's that was a really successful BLC when it comes to guest perception, from what I can understand. Let's see.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything
So that's a
about
no.
Burger Mondays or the pricing at all. I mean, I'm sure
Okay.
somewhere or another it'll happen.
And then, okay, great. And then Caleb, I mean, I know everybody's super busy, so I'm not having giant expectations, but I was just curious, as you start to have this line, have you done anything, thought of anything? Can we help you with anything in the dining
I've
room
been
part of
looking
it?
at ways of tracking waste out in the front of house, but I haven't put too much time into it yet. No.
Okay, I'd be happy to help, and I think if we know that there's some small things that are contributing to problems, so we probably don't need a lot of data to help get moving on them, you know, in terms of missed rings or that sort of stuff. So happy to help, just to get a little momentum going.
Cool.
And we should put coffee prices on. You could make a task for me and Caleb to chat a little.
Yeah, I was to say we are running pretty short on time already. We haven't reached code.
Let's go. Not now. Yeah. Thank you, Caleb.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. So standing in for Jess is Tara Lynn. Tara Lynn, if you can get, I don't know how many reds that Jess gave you to read off. If you can only read like maybe your top three, if you whatever you have in front of you, so we can make sure everybody has enough time to say what they want to say for their line.
Sure.
Angle of things.
Yeah, okay, so for reds, there were 35 reds, and one from last Tuesday, a guest ordered a hot wings basket, and they received all buttermilk legs, which I think I read that code red, and it was the server's fault that they rang in the legs, but then they still should have been hot legs. They came out buttermilk. There was a couple guests unhappy that we raised the corned beef hash price, and also a corned beef hash red that they thought it should be diced smaller. And then on the 7th, some first-time guests didn't like their food. It was Roadhouse mac, grits and cheese, fried chicken, and mashed potatoes, saying some of it was cold. The mac wasn't what they expected. The fried chicken was a little bit overdone from what they thought it should be. Oh, and I'm sorry, one more that is kind of important. There's a guest that wanted a black bean burger, not spicy, but was unaware that the mix itself has a bit of a kick. And that, I think, I just like to bring that one up because I think that just has to do with knowledge, front house knowledge, knowing what's in specific items. I don't know if Bob or Ari was first.
Bob typically first.
We have a tradition now, apparently. No, I agree on the black bean burger. That was the first thing that came to my mind. If like someone like can't do spicy things and kind of told, it sounds like they kind of educated the server in that, and then still was like, oh yeah, it should be fine. Like, yeah, it definitely has some kick to it. I think a lot of these is just kind of like with the corned beef hash. It's just kind of bridging kind of that gap between what our reality of the plate is to what the customer's expectation is, and maybe somewhat missing that, which I think is going to happen from that time to time. And it's interesting about the corned beef price since we raised it. I don't even know, it's been a while, probably like last summer sometime, but
yeah, because the menu prices at least propose ain't going to happen for a little bit at least.
Yeah, I was going to ask if I had missed an email or something recently.
Right. But and then like on the buttermilk fried chicken legs going out instead of, well, hot wings or hot legs, it's interesting that they just make it through like 3 sets of eyes all the way out to the table to get there. But so obviously we always have things to work on. But
it was meant to be. Ari.
Yeah, I was going to say, like to Carolyn's point, for Caleb's end of the food cost, like that mistake on not telling the guests that the black bean burger mix is already spicy is food cost. So, you know, we can push on the kitchen all we want, but that part of it is going to come from, you know, building expertise over time in the front of the house. And then similarly, the mistake on the not catching stuff at Expo. Bob, I do have concerns sometimes with the Roadie Max that we get a little ahead and then they're pulling sides out of the pan and that it may not be super hot. So just something for your weekly notes or.
That is funny you say that. Already yesterday, I feel an MIR from a guest. That was exactly that. There's one of their sides of Brody with their fried chicken. It was cold, and I touched it. It was very cold on top. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So
even if it's still hot on the bottom, to Zach's point, yeah.
Yeah. And it was pretty warm on the inside, but like the first few noodles on top, of course, the guests
right.
to eat those.
Yep.
Like, whoa, what the heck is this?
Yeah, it's just something to keep in mind because it is. I think it's a repetitive problem.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Tara Lynn. I guess the code green time.
Yeah, you know, I just realized, oh no, wait, it's in here. Okay, I just put it in the wrong spot. Oh no, wait, I don't have my email up and I didn't put in the greens. But I do remember there was lots of love for Hesna, Nathan, Mandy. But as far as food goes, I don't remember what they were, but they will be in the notes before I post them.
Sweet. There are 101 of them too, from what I can see. So.
Yes, 101. Yeah.
Cool.
Did add that part in.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. Let's move it to, I guess, back to keep going with you. You have this whole little block here. ZXI. Looks like we got some surveys in.
Didn't even mute myself.
There you go.
Okay, so yeah, so we did get 21 surveys in. And that would be 19 from servers and then 2 from the park. The 2 from the park were both very big code reds. So it brought down our score a lot. All the rest of them were promoters. We had all promoters, 1 neutral, and then the 2 detractors, giving us a score of 78 out of 21 surveys.
Oh, 78, not 76. Good.
Yeah, I sent out an email last week running a server survey game. I don't mind saying this, that the only participants were Mandy and Stephanie, so they both win. Mandy gets a meal for her 11 surveys and Stephanie gets a free appetizer or dessert for her 6 surveys. But I might try the game again, but if they're the only 2 participants again, then it seems like they'd be doing it anyhow. But I'm open for suggestions and willing to take ideas on how we can get more surveys collected. And then the 2 surveys from the park from this weekend that brought down the score. One was about order and pay not working. So they were upset that it said that it was available to use the QR code and then it wasn't, which I don't think on that one, I don't think it wasn't working. I think it was that we had turned it off. And then there was another one about long food times, which was from Saturday. And they said that when their food came out, it wasn't even all of their food. And he's like, and now we are waiting and waiting and waiting for the rest to come out. I wasn't here on Saturday night, so I'm not sure what those times looked like. But it sounded, from the way they wrote it in the present tense, it sounded like they were writing the survey as they were waiting for that second half of the food to come up, which somebody should be contacting the guest about that one as well. Other than that, that's all I have. And I think Bob had a hand up, or Ari?
Ari, I believe.
Is somebody contacting the guest?
I did when I put in the code red from the survey. If the guest checks yes that they would like to be contacted, then I put in the how it was handled section that the guest indicated that they would like to be contacted regarding their survey response.
Yeah.
I saw Caleb has sent out some of the more concerning ones to all staff. So I'm not sure if he's helped on code reds with Lisa.
Yeah, there were a few on Sunday. I don't think I've intended to. I know yesterday I responded. Has anybody got this from Sunday night's crew? Is what I responded. So.
Yeah, you did your part. I'm just wondering if any of us has answered.
Yeah, I think
I don't think that email did
Caleb or Lisa, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we make a task? Since I'm driving, I can't do it, but somebody could send to the managers group or something to make sure we follow up.
Got it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, not awesome, but good that we're following up. All right. Well, thank you very much. We are cramming in for time, so let's bounce it down to the Jim show. A little late today, Jim, for on our end, usually how we do things, but happy you're here and talk about NLP and cash.
Well, hello, and rather than it being the Jim show today, we're gonna call today's show the Masked Business Manager. That's the name of today's show.
Okay.
In terms of cash and NOP, we're still working on July's close. We're a bit hampered with the network issues that we're having in terms of making a lot of progress on that. What we're seeing in terms of July, though, looks very good. We should be able to make our NOP for that, which was in the mid 60s. I'm still feeling pretty solid about that. And everything I'm seeing from so far in terms of August, I think our forecast or plan there of 31 is probably in the right ballpark. It's going to be interesting if we move towards this closure once a week to see how things recalibrate. We've done an estimated impact of what that's going to cost us. And just for quick and dirty sake, it's about $17,000 loss of revenue every week, because that's an average Tuesday. And then, of course, you're going to save a bunch of expenses by not being open, hopefully. Hopefully, you don't spend the money and just not have the revenue. That's the worst of both worlds. Okay, but if we can cut the expenses, we're probably leaving about $3,000 to $4,000 behind every week that we're closed on a Tuesday. So that's not really factored into these numbers. It's not, as we alluded to earlier, it's not in the forecast yet. But as we move towards that world, we're going to have to refresh the numbers and kind of see how it shakes out. It's certainly not a great long-term solution, but it may be born of necessity until we can get properly staffed up. And that's what I got.
And I think your assessment of that is pretty accurate. So hopefully we can get staff in, and this all will be a fond memory that we all share in October. Awesome. Thank you, Jim. And let's move to Hot Pockets. We have first up is Jillian's Hot Pocket. Good morning, Jillian.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Sorry, I was listening to Jim and I got all distracted. So, yeah, we had a lot of interesting things happen this week. So, yeah, the numbers are very different. I know we were out of, hi, Asta. I'm just emailing her too. Out of sausage. So the Roadhouse breakfast was a little bit down this week. Huevos, I'm not sure if anything happened there. It was down about 22%, which is kind of surprising. That's usually one of our stronger breakfast items, but maybe everybody's just getting the corned beef hash instead. Oatmeal, just for numbers' sake, about the same as last week, 22 at breakfast, 9 at brunch for those toppings that we want to have available potentially. And then going into lunch, Montreal Reuben, still #1 seller at lunch. People love that sandwich. It's crazy. The kale salad is also up. Burger kind of dipped a little bit, but like I said, with that Montreal Reuben, you know, it's kind of taken the place of that. Poutine, I was on the low end. We usually one of our best sellers, but I know we've been on a cheese curds. I don't know if Chef can speak more to that, if we're going to be getting, you know, more soon. I know we were out of the cheese curd, the fried cheese curds on Wednesday. We had a bunch of people asking for those as well. But, you know, COVID times, we have some weird stuff going on. For dinner, oysters were down a little bit. I noticed our list, when the list is nice and long with a zillion kinds of oysters, you know, people are kind of more apt to order those. But this week it was a little bit shorter, which is fine. You know, we want to keep it fresh, so give them the best. And then dinner, fried chicken was up pretty substantially. All right, thank you, Chef. Cheese curds coming up. Yeah, poutine is huge, so that'd be awesome to have that back. And then fried chicken mac ribs were also up for dinner. Fried chicken mac was down a little bit, but you know, I know sounds like we had some code reds around that. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. And then we have I was happy to hear our check average is good, because I know we were had kind of dessert fiascos this week with the freezer going down. We were out of the chocolate gelato, which people were pretty kind of, bummed out about. They really love that. So gelato was also down like 37%. But desserts as a whole were down. Even, the bakehouse items. We didn't have a fried cherry pie on, which is also usually a huge hit. So that was kind of took us back. But like I said, it still sounds like we're selling a lot of drinks and appetizers to kind of make up for that, which is really good. And then our to-go cocktails are up 32%. Margarita selling really well. Sangria is always the big favorite, and everything else, the Tres Piñas, margarita, peach daiquiri, those are all within like $30 of each other, all real close in their sales as well. So actually, like I said, great additions to our cocktail list. So but beyond that, yeah, that was all that kind of jumped out at me. I don't know if anybody else has any comments or any info to add.
Yep. Ari?
Just thank you for doing this. As I wrote in the piece I wrote for 5 Things, your data prompted me to write about the corned beef hash. And then it's interesting that the to-go cocktails went up as we have concern with the Delta stuff. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, when you said that, I already immediately thought, I was like, oh, that could be part of it. So
that's why we track things on a huddle, so we can catch the trends before they happen. And I also thought it was interesting, the fried chicken sandwich was over the burger, considering we raised the prices of the burger throughout the week. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
That should not have happened. It would make the burgers more expensive. So I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Yep. But the fried people love that fried chicken sandwich. That was
like
an
fried
awesome,
chicken in general.
Awesome addition to the menu. Yeah, for sure.
Fried chicken in general is about 15% of all of our food for dinner.
Yep. Yep.
Good times. Anyways, thank you so much. We're going to keep it rolling with Andrew Nash. Andrew, you there?
Hello, everybody. I'm going to apologize right out of the gate. I'm forced to be on my phone, and I dropped it and broke the screen during this very meeting. So.
Oh, shoot.
Am I coming through? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you sound pretty good. I'm sorry, but it sucks.
It's just been a hell of a morning. But first things first was all of our overnight coolers and things going down. The big news there is that I had a lot of trouble getting contractors in overnight. Either they weren't qualified to do the work, or they wouldn't answer the phone or come out. So I'm currently in the process of lining up some backup contractors who have overnight availability. If you remember, the freezer sat overnight because I wasn't able to get anybody in until the morning. So that's sort of the big news on that front, kind of consuming my time because I'm going to be out of town a few days over these next couple of weeks. And if we can't get a contractor overnight, we're going to be pretty high and dry. So if anyone has any ideas of HVAC contractors or anybody they know personally or anything like that, it's seeming like perhaps they're having a labor shortage as well, because the best I can do is Cook and White, who is only available until 10:30 p.m. Every night. So that's sort of where I'm at with that, but it's all in process. I'm going to get that, to be a more well-oiled situation. And other news, the metal's going up on the roof, which I think looks great. And I'm going to continue on that today and hopefully knock a big chunk of it out.
Awesome. Well, not awesome, but thank you for being diligent about it and giving us the details, Andrew. Ari, I think has a question or a comment.
Yes, the metal does look awesome. Thank you. We don't need to do it now, but we are, with the approval of the park, there is a little bit of work we need to do. So maybe you, me, and Lisa can get together sometime and sort that out. And then if you haven't already, I don't know the answers on the overnight, but check with the deli. Maybe Rick would know, or with Louie, or with the folks at the bakehouse.
Oh yeah, sounds good. That's a good idea. I will do that.
The approval of the park, Carolyn, is I was going to do it at announcements, but that the city had come and given us. It's a long story. I'm going to try not to be too judgmental about the city. They advised us that there was a number of permits that they didn't tell us about, and that the landlord didn't tell us about, and that the liquor commission didn't tell us about, or the lawyer that worked with the liquor commission didn't tell us about. but now we've got them approved.
Yay.
Nothing you really need to do. There's just some work Andrew needs to do.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's a developing story. Thank you for that, Ari. And yeah, forward to seeing the fruits of the labor that goes into making the park where it needs to be so we can feel comfortable and the city can basically get off our backs. All right, so let's go quickly over to training with Felipe to wrap up the DOR session. Apologies for running a little over. We do have important discussion topics as well after this.
Right on, Zach. I'm just going to ask to be able to share my screen here.
Sure.
I think. Here we go. Here now. You guys have my something on the screen?
It should be present now on the bottom part of the screen there on the Google Meet. Should be like a square, a rectangle with a little arrow in the middle of it. Present now.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, now we see it.
So this is my post Toasties tracker sheet. Real quick, anything in green means it has been done. Anything that's not in green has not been done. And anything in red, of course, is a post Toasty. So you can see where we're sitting right now. I will have this printed out and put somewhere in the restaurant. I'd be happy to take suggestions about it. So a couple things like I found out this week, Nico had completed, which would be great. I just don't have any confirmation on that. Bob, if you have a passport or something like that, let me know. In fact, anytime anybody finishes their passport, I would really appreciate it if someone sent me an email or something like that so that I can make adjustments here. The biggest thing to show you guys right now is down here near the bottom. You see all these names over here and no road guides attended to them. I know the manager's doing, they had an idea on how to help me with this. I involved lead servers, but I've yet to get any follow-up with that. So I'm going to ask whoever was tasked with that project to please meet with me at some point this week would be great. So we can get that rolling. We definitely need road guides so that people can stay, help keep on task and help us keep ourselves on task. Because otherwise training falls apart very quickly. And it is my belief that good training sets the stage for a good tenure at the business, no matter how long they're here. I will stop real quick there. I could go on for a long time, but I won't. But I see that Hesna has her hand up, so and Ari afterwards.
Thank you. Is it okay if I ask the question real quick?
Of course.
Please.
Thank you. So now, no pressure here. I know you're dealing with a lot of other training related issues, especially like road guide wise, but for those of us who had Sharon as a road guide, do you advise just like referring to you or will we be assigned a new road guide?
Great question, Hesna. Temporarily, I will be assuming the duties of all those people to be the road guide. That's going to be very temporary, as I expect that I'll be getting together with the management to figure out what the next steps are so that I'm not around 25 some people. That list is going to go down a little bit because I know we have some temporary staff or people that we knew that were going to be leaving at the end of the summer will be heading out. But that also means that we've got people coming in to replace them. So we definitely need to get that up and rolling. So stay tuned. You'll be getting another road guide that's not me in the relatively near future.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, quick question.
A couple things. So more for prompts for future conversation because time is tight. Zach, could you make a note maybe to consider tomorrow the lead servers just dividing the front of the house people that need to have road guides, that it would just be part of their work?
Yeah, it's more we need to find time to meet with Felipe and go over what that looks like.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's just you're a lead server. Part of your work as lead server is being a road guide. Here's the 3 people you're dealing with, because we have them. They're, I don't think, doing a whole lot else. It might be a good, easy way to deal with this.
Oh, 100% agreed. Yeah.
Okay, and the other thing that's food for thought, Felipe, for another conversation is Maggie has been recommending for a while, but I think some of the stuff, now that it's helpful to see this up there, like some of this stuff, I would suggest we might want to move to a second 90-day period so we could get beyond the post-toasty. Like, I don't think they need sell food, have fun to get out of basic orientation. That's important class. So I just want to take a look at some point on how we might slim this down in order to ease getting them out and then still keep the training going so we're not ignoring it.
I love that idea. All right.
Okay,
Happy to
happy
help
to
with
work
that.
on it with you.
Great. Thank you.
Maybe
All right.
on shift we can take 10 minutes and sketch it.
Sure. I like that. Thanks.
That's
Okay,
not also I did very much too.
I'll turn the floor back over to Zach.
Hello. All right. Thank you, Felipe. Excellent. So, quick couple discussion topics that are quite important because they have to do with just our business and also this meeting specifically. I will go over them as fast as I can. So, give me at least your ear for a few more minutes. Apologies for the tardiness. Not tardiness, the lateness. That's it. Well, both. Actually, yeah, it's both the same, I think. Roadshow carryout proposal. We talked about it last Thursday. It's going to really impact every aspect of the restaurant. So I will copy. I sent it out to all staff, so I think everybody has it in their email inbox somewhere. If you haven't seen it already, but I will copy paste it in this chat real quick. There you go. What's important is wanted to give the chart that Terry helped me made, and everybody can see that. I hope. Yeah. So what we just did, actually, I did it last night before I left. I just forgot to have people do it, so I just yanked them out. We just reduced the curbside spots to half, so that right side of the parking lot, where we so you know that whole strip of parking lot in front of the roadshow we had signs in, the right half from the park is now officially gone. They're all removed. I put all those posts near the woodshed over there near 863. So we only have half the curbside spots. Then we all agreed to do this and see how curbside works for at least a week or so, seeing if we even want to keep curbside, because I think there's 2 camps, one keeping curbside, one not keeping curbside. So we were agreed, since we're in consensus, to eliminate curbside. This is what we came to consensus on, was eliminating half and seeing where it goes. So those signs are now ripped out of the ground. And then the one we're doing tonight, which I'll have to converse with Caleb and Lisa on how to coordinate it, is the PM bartenders officially are going to be out of the roadshow pool. We're supposed to start yesterday. All of us, to be blunt, just kind of forgot, but we all remembered it tonight, so I made sure to put it in my notes and to talk about it here. So tonight we'll be starting that. So yeah, those are the 2 changes. The rest of this chart here is handy because it gives you rollout dates. So now, obviously, with our Rest Up Tuesday being next Tuesday, a lot of the work for the management team is going to get done for this BLC that Tuesday and rolling out that Wednesday. So just look out for a lot of big changes. And I mentioned that at this huddle because the huddle is so this huddle currently is coordinated to happen during Rest Up Tuesdays, which a lot of the staff on our email chain on this were not a big fan of. They wanted to not feel like they had that in order to come and enjoy and talk about the business, they had to come in on a day we specifically coordinated to make sure everybody could get a day off no matter what. So what I think I proposed as a counter proposal was, what if we swap this meeting and the managers meeting? Of course, tomorrow the managers meeting, I will bring this up again and talk about it on that end. But how do we feel about that quick, maybe minute to 2 minutes? I know it's late, but it's a really important thing to talk about for this meeting. So how do we feel about moving this huddle to Wednesday, even starting next week? Simply because next week is when everything starts. Hesna?
I mean, it's really up to y'all and what the broader collective needs, but I'll speak for myself, which is I'm personally very grateful that this huddle happens on my day off, because it gives me the capacity to really focus and be fully present when I'm taking part in this huddle. And the huddle is also optional on the note of it feels like we're working. So as someone who tries to attend this huddle fairly regularly, I personally would enjoy having it on this date because I know I can attend. Otherwise, though, do what needs to be done.
Awesome. Thank you. That's exactly the kind of feedback I'm hoping for right here. So anybody else with any just gut reactions or feedbacks? Ari?
Oh, it is. Yeah, the girls can know. I said it.
I'm good either way. I just, to be clear, the driver of the BLC is not so that all of us have the same day off together. It's so that we can staff the restaurant the rest of the week. So there's no ban on people working on that day. And like in the kitchen, we're going to have a couple people doing cleaning and stuff like that. So this is not driven by how do we all have the same day to go to the beach together, which isn't a bad idea. But, and I don't care if we move it or not, but I'm just trying to get the priorities clear.
Yes. I think the overall sentiment that I gathered was, if we're going to say that we want all staff to not have to come into work, to be able to rest up for the rest of the week, knowing there's a lot of shifts to cover. They didn't want to feel like, oh, but we would still like it if you could come and join us in a meeting on a day off. I think that some people might have rubbed it the wrong way, I think was the sentiment I felt.
Well, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, in the spirit of Hesna, and again, I don't care, but most of the people who said that don't come to the huddle. Number one, and number two, everybody's different. So some people prefer it when they're not bothered, like Hesna said, and some people don't want to be bothered. And I think no matter what, some people will still have Wednesday off. So it's still going to cause some problems, but
I agree.
I'm good either way, personally.
And Jillian?
Yeah, I think I was just scrolling through some emails. Maybe it might have been Ari who mentioned, we got to remember that we're going to have to change this back. So, do we want to switch it and like upend everything and like people's flow, the people who do attend, do we want to change that for like, hopefully like only, a month? I don't know. I'm a big fan of consistency, especially with how busy everything is. So, I mean, that's just I'm down for whatever, but just in the vein of consistency and, keeping everything as normal as possible. I was just throwing it out there.
No, that's a great response, and I'm happy to hear these perspectives. So cool. Sounds like everybody at the huddle wants to keep the huddle on Tuesdays. So
it is on Zoom, I'll just say, so it's far less intrusive than if you have to drive across town.
No, of course. So it sounds like people at the huddle want to keep it on to this day. So as far as I'm concerned, we're just going to keep it. That sounds good to people here. I mean, people here are the people who come. So this is our it's the business's meeting, but it's our meeting in a way too. Beth?
Yeah, I vote to keep it the same.
Cool. All right. Well, Beth spoke, so thus it will be. There you go. I love it. Thank you. This is great. Sarah Lynn?
It's not related to this. I just want to remind you that I still have to do the task review. I wasn't here the last couple of weeks, so I would like to do it if anybody has.
Apologies for the lateness of the meeting. We had a lot of good conversation. Yes, let's go through that right now, Carolyn. Okay. So we're gonna keep the huddle on Tuesdays. It seems that's official. Everybody, we kind of all, I didn't think hear any naysayers, so I'll just make sure that's noted. So sweet. Anyways, Carolyn.
Sounds about right. I'll just go over the new ones because the older ones, I think everybody knows, like write some good code greens and write your code reds. So Bob, I'm not sure with this one. I have for Lauren and Bob to talk BLTs. Is that still something that's working or unnecessary to have on here still?
Not sure. I don't recall the context of it.
It was about the discrepancy between the roadshow BLT, I think, which I didn't know there was, and what we do in house.
Absolutely. Thank you, Art. Yeah. Give me another week on it.
Cool. All right. So we do need to make sure everyone has black safety shoes. I have a task on here that I created just since I had to listen to the recording a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, for Ari to talk to Timo about basic food safety classes.
Yeah, I did talk to him, and it's working. So you could take it off.
Thank you. I'm going to find someone to help with code green document outside this huddle. Felipe is looking into figuring out how to post a document listing all trainees needing for classes. I think he left already.
Done.
I'll follow up. Oh, it's done. Okay.
Post it in here. No, he has to post on the wall still too. Yeah.
I'll send out an email to the manager group to make sure those survey MIRs are being responded to. The managers need to meet with Felipe about road guides. I have Caleb and Ari to look into front of house food costs, and Ari and Felipe to look at slimming down basic orientation.
All right.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Nice task list. Yeah, of course. All right. Quick announcements. Anybody? Quick announcements.
I have corned beef hash and 5 things tomorrow.
Awesome. All right. Appreciations.
I have an appreciation for Beth. Thank you, first of all, for being at this meeting. And second of all, your kindness and warmth has made it so much easier for me to get to know other back of house people. I appreciate all that you embody and how you show up in the space. Thank you to everyone else for being here too.
Well, thank you for that, Hesna. I would like to send an appreciation to Jess. I don't think she's attending today, but she is a very special person and she tries to teach me quite a bit in the back of the house, and I appreciate that.
That is awesome. Great start to appreciations. Anyone else? All right.
Well, I'll second all of what Hesna said and what Beth said. Zach, just one other note before I do appreciations that I forgot. We do need to look at the reservations for Tuesdays and figure out how we're going to handle it, because it's not as simple as, like, I walked in yesterday and they were canceling every Tuesday reservation for the next 2 months. Like, wait. So we do need to make a plan, because I'm not sure what to do, and we don't need to figure it out now. I do want to appreciate all of you for the work that you're doing to figure out how to get through these challenging times. I wish it was easier, but it's not. It's challenging all over the country, and I just continue to be impressed and inspired by everybody's great collaborative work and staying focused. It's awesome to be a small part of it. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, are you there today? I have my office time. Maybe we can coordinate. I don't know how long you're going to be there for.
I'm at Zing Train now, and I'll be in this evening if you're still there. I don't know how long you're going to be there.
Yeah, I got my office time till 5, so it may not work, but okay.
Okay, I can call you though.
Cool. Yeah, you can do that. Okay.
I'll call you.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate all of you for hanging tight. 10 minutes late is not really where I like to be, but we had lots of good discussion topics. Things were discussed well, and as I always say when I'm late, time is but a resource, and I wish I could have used it a little better, but we used all the resources we could to the best of our ability today, and I think it went well overall. So thank you all for coming to this great meeting. And so this time next week, our restaurant will not be open. So keep that in mind. It's very important to know. Don't think you'll have a shift. You will not. But we will have the huddle. So please chime in and let's talk about it and invite your friends, since they know they're not going to be working that day. So take care and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Have a good one, everyone.